What's going on? What's going on? We are back at it again. Drams on deck. Today, we got a review coming, and I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. I already did June. Did a lot of y'all on the top row. Let me bring it down. But wow, the OGs, the Glendronics, I did y'all. Oh, you know what? I ain't did you yet. The Port Askaig Isla single malt scotch on deck. What's it, 110 proof, 55% ABV. You know what? I think it's your time. I think your time is now. Let's do this. You see, here's a quick 360 of the bottle. This is a peated scotch if you don't know. You see sweet fruit, dark fruits. This is an ex-bourbon cask, 55%. This is sort of like a Kalila on steroids, some people may say. So just giving you some quick specs on it. There's the actual box for it right there. And you see this one tipper. This used to be, I live in Des Moines, Iowa back in the day when I was in California. It used to be at Costco all the time. Here's the box for it, Port Askaig. And just here's a, like I said, just a quick specs on it. Same as the bottle. But anyway, I think your time is now. Port Askaig on deck for review, 110 proof. Yes, sir. Let's go. Where we at, baby? We back here again. Another hot review for you. Drams on deck. Today, we got a real one in the building. Today, we have a single malt scotch in the building. Today, we have the Port Askaig on deck for review. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. This is bottled at 110 proof, which is 55% ABV. This is my first bottle of it, in the Port Askaig. Other reviewers have said this tastes like a Kalila. So if you're a Scotch drinker, you ever had a Kalila, that's kind of what this is similar to. This is bottled by an undisclosed distiller. Like I said, it's in the Isla, so this is a peated whiskey. And like I said, this is my first bottle of it. And so for me, I'm a fan of peated whiskeys. I love all spirits, but I love my peated whiskeys. So this one right here, as you can see, has a very light pale color, not age stated. And I paid around $80 for this. I gotta say here in Des Moines, Iowa. But I used to live in San Diego, California. So I used to go to the Costco there. I used to see this in Costco a lot. In San Diego. Costco here doesn't have it, but there it was about $5 cheaper. So it was around maybe $75. So it was in the 70s in San Diego. So like I said, it's this one right here is similar to a Kalila. Some people say it's a cask strength Kalila. Have you ever had that before? It's another Scotch whiskey. If you never had it before, no worries. I'm gonna go into detail about this one. But just imagine that you had a peated whiskey, not age stated, that has a lot of characteristics to it. This is not necessarily quite like an Ardbeg. I think a lot of Ardbegs are aged in sherry casks. So this one is not, but you do get the peated, the ashy type characteristics to it. But a lot of Ardbegs are meaty characters to it. For example, Ugadal, which I have way behind me, Ardbeg Ugadal. That one, you get the sweetness from the sherry, you get the peated, and then you get the meaty character to it. That is not this. This is not as sweet, it's not as meaty. But it does have spice character to it. It is bold, smoky, spicy, and it does have a lot of characteristics to it that is very good. Not quite as sweet with the sherry cask influence, but it does have other characteristics to it that's good. We're going to dive into that in just a second. But this is my first bottle. I actually saw this in Des Moines. If you never lived here before, they don't have a lot of great selections of Scotch. Obviously, we're in the Midwest. I would imagine, well, since I've been living here, Scotch is not in high demand in the Midwest. It is to certain people, but there's a lot of people who I wouldn't say necessarily know or gravitate to Scotch as much as maybe when I was living in California, you would see Scotch everywhere. In the Midwest, not quite as much. So it's still available, but you have to look a little bit harder. So, you go to other places. Like I go to the Land Lot, which is my second home because I went to college down there, Morris Brown College, HBCU. You can find these type of things there. So it's all about location. In the Midwest, in particular in Iowa, it's not the best state to find a lot of things. Not just Scotch, but even certain bourbons. So anyway, things like this, I was shocked to find, like, wow, they got this here in the morning. So I got it. Paid 80 some bucks for it. And now I'm doing the review. I love my peated whiskeys. And like I said, as always, we gonna nose it, we gonna taste it, we gonna score it. As I said before, it's a pale color. It's not age stated. I don't know the age of it, but I'm quite sure it's not very old. It's aged in ex bourbon cask, so I do know that aged in ex bourbon cask for non-disclosed time. And then we have the peat here, and let's just see what it has to offer on the nose, shall we? Wow, wow. See, I always tell people this: people who are not Scotch drinkers, when you just on the, I'm going to talk about the nose. When you nose a peated Scotch, especially if you're a smoker, like, wow, it's just so full of flavor, depth, boldness to it. Like, I don't smoke at all. Just to clarify, I'm not a smoker at all. I'm a sipper or a whiskey connoisseur, or I should say spirit connoisseur, because it's not just whiskey. I do tequilas, mezcals, cognacs, So, but on the nose, wow, it's just wow. I get a salty brine character to it. I get a nice sweet smoke element. Smell like a barbecue, milk chocolate. Very nice. Wow. But yeah, you get the milky, briny, smoky character to it with a nice, like a medium sweetness to it. Without further ado, let's take a quick sip and see what this palate has to offer, shall we? Cheers. Port Askaig, 110 proof. Wow. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Like I said, short as I mentioned earlier, in this area, Scotch is not very in demand, so you don't see a lot of different varieties. This is the first Scotch I've tried probably in over a month. Damn, it's like when I try Scotch, I'm like, damn, I notice a difference between American single malts, bourbons, and when you try a Scotch or something from overseas, it's a drastic difference. And I realize why I love Scotch so much. It's just wow. The depth of flavor, the climate is different. The peat is just the peat in itself. If you're someone who likes long finishes, you can't get much better than the peated whiskey. Peated whiskeys have the longest finishes that there is in any spirit, I would say. I mean, obviously, when you got something that's high proof, you may get sweet, and the peat just lasts so long on this. It's just wow. But on this, wow. If you know my channel, I like to take 2 sips. I like to take the first sip to open me up, but the second sip kind of saturates my palate, and I can dive a little bit deeper in those notes for you. But the first sip is just wow. Second sip, I'm going to dive deeper and give you those notes. 1 second. Damn. Wow. I'm not even joking. This is so good. One thing I'm going to start off with is the viscosity. It has a medium-high viscosity to it. What I mean by viscosity, if you don't know, is the oiliness, the consistency. It has nice oiliness to it. So when I swirl it around on my palate, it sticks to the walls of my tongue longer with something that has less viscosity. So that helps with the finish as well because it has a longer finish. So viscosity is medium high. On the palate, you get the nice rubber, ash, peat smokiness to it. In addition, coupled with that, right next to it is like a milk chocolatey kind of character to it. It's milk chocolate. Then you get the rubber ash. You get the peat, the brine, a little bit of saltiness to it, but within a good way, salted caramel rather. And then, man, it just rolls together so nice. So you get the milk chocolate, the salt and the brine, and you get the smokiness and the peat. and it just rolls together so fast. And on the finish, I get it's like a nice, like I said, chocolatey, sweet, like a nice, like a medium oak character on there as well. That tastes very nice. It's very good. I get like a nice little that saltiness to it, like a salted caramel. Damn, that's good. With the milk chocolate, salted caramel, and the peat. I know it, if you never had some salted caramel, popcorn, or even chocolate, you wouldn't think, well, how could I add smoke to this? But I'm telling you, it in this particular spirit, it comes together so well. And like I said, it has a medium viscosity, so which really cultivates everything together and it sticks to the palate. And like I said, I downed the last sip a minute ago, and I can still taste on the back of my tongue, like the very back of it. I can still get a little bit of that milk chocolate and that smoke on there. And that's what I love about peated whiskeys in particular. Like, especially this has high proof, so it's 55%, and it has the peat, and it's so good. So if you ever had an Ardbeg, I have some behind me, deep behind there, but like an Ardbeg, let's suppose Ugadal or Core Reckoning, those type of things, for example, have more of a sweetness to it because of the sherry cask. This doesn't have the sherry cask as ex-bourbon, but it still has a nice chocolatey character to it, a little bit of vanilla, and it's still good. It's different. Like if you ever had suppose you ever had a Lefroy or a Brutalates or Octomore. It's not as quite as peaty as an Octomore, but it's right below there. But it is nice, soft, and the way the peat is high, but it's not, in my opinion, it's not offensive because of the milk chocolate, the brine character to it. You can definitely smell and taste the peat, but it comes across so smooth, so easy. Same way as the Octomore. When you see the Octomore, you see the ppms of certain Octomores, which is parts per million. You may see 200 parts per million. Let's just put this in context. The average Lefroy or Arnbeck, the entry level, like I said, the Ugadal, Core Reckoning, the average ppm parts per million in peat is 50 to 60% parts per million. And the Octomores, which you see right above me, the 10.3, all those are Octomores. The parts per million on those is like 150 to 220. So parts per million is far higher. But if you ever had those Octomores, it's just, even though it's higher, it is not like, just like a dark, nasty, dry ashtray that's just like smoke on top of smoke, and it just doesn't just kill the vibe. To me, it imparts flavor. That's what I get with this. I don't know the parts per million on this, but I would imagine it's probably in that same 50, 60, or maybe even 70. But damn if it's not good. It's just the milk chocolate, the salt, the caramel, it's just very good. That's all I can say. And then what shocked me when I first opened the bottle was how light it was. I'm like, okay, it looks young because there's almost pale. It's pretty much, it's clear. So I was thinking to myself, like, wow, how is this going to taste? When I tried it, I was like, wow, the viscosity, the brine, the milk chocolate, and even the peat smoke, it just marries together so well. There's no complaints. It is a damn good dram. I pour water in there, so I'm gonna take one quick sip with water. It's 55%, so we can take it. I'm gonna give you if there's any differences that I pick up with water. Cheers. A little bit more. So the peat with water, peat drowns out. So if you don't like the smoke flavor as much, in my opinion, if you ever had this, what I say is this is not sold everywhere. So this is not going to be in every single spot. But this review is mostly for people who are curious about peated whiskeys or people who are looking for this specific type of peated whiskey. And I'm telling you now, if you add water to it, it drowns out the peat. So the peat is not nearly as prevalent as it was before the water. I did add a healthy dose, probably like maybe about 6 drops of water. So it does depend upon the amount. But like I said, go gradually. But if someone I try to mirror if someone had an ice cube. Some people like to put their whiskeys on ice. So if you had an ice ball or ice cube, I try to put a decent amount on drops of water to emulate if someone had an ice cube that was melting slowly. So if you had an ice cube that melted slowly, that's what you would pick. So you wouldn't pick up nearly as much peat if you had an ice cube, and if you had an ice ball, maybe those melt slower. But a regular ice cube, they'll melt quicker. So if you had an ice cube, what I dropped in there is kind of what you would taste. But the peat's kind of it's very faded. but you get more milk chocolate. You get more caramel on there. Me personally, I love the peat character, so I would probably just drink it neat, be honest with you, because that's just who I am. I love that peat and smoky character to it. But however you want to do it, if you don't like it quite as much, a couple drops of water drowns it out, and you get a different character that you would get from any American single malt. If you try a peated whiskey versus American single malt, it's night and day. They are not the same. And if you never had a peated whiskey, try different ones. If you've never had a peated whiskey, I would suggest trying. How you see this Highland Park 12? It doesn't look like that. This is the old bottling, but they have a Highland Park. I would try that. That's like peated below. Oban. A lot of Obans that you can get at, depending upon where you live at, but at certain Costco's you can get an Oban. Even Johnny Walker Black. You know what I'm saying? Those are kind of peated too. So there's different ways that you can try that's lightly peated. But to me, like I said, with the water, it kind of drowns out the peat a little bit more. So all in all, it's a good dram regardless. I would try, if you're a Scotch person, if you love peated whiskeys and you like sweetness, especially if you love peat and chocolate, listen, hey, when I tap the table, that means you need to listen. If you love peat and chocolate, this spirit right here for $75, $80 is a jewel. It's under the radar. I mean, it's not, you don't see it everywhere. It's not easy to find. But if you see the Port Askaig 110, they have actually a 100, which is 50% ABV. This is 55. I heard it has some similarities. I have not tried it, so I'm only going off of what I've heard. But what I would tell you, if you ever see this at a Costco or at your local liquor house, depending on where you live at, like I said, if you live in spots maybe outside the Midwest or certain areas, you can find this. I think you maybe find this at the beanies, as you see here. But if you see this and you're curious to know, I'm telling you right now, you add a little water to it. Oh my God! If you don't like peat quite as much, you can taste the milk chocolate. It's just different from American single malt. So I think you should try it. Damn good dram. If I had to rate this 1 out of 10, 10 being the best for me, Drams on deck. And keep in mind, I rate this among other peated whiskeys. So I don't rate this in the same category as a rye, as a bourbon, as American single malt, as a cognac, the tequila. I don't rate that as that. So this rating I'm going to give you is only against other peated single malt Scotch whiskeys. So that being said, on that scale that I'm talking about, 1 out of 10, 10 being the best, I would rate this a solid, man. One more quick sip. Just one quick sip. 8.75 out of 10. I'm gonna give this an 8.75 out of 10. Solid dram. I like it. I think this is a solid pour. If you've never had it, if you like peated whiskeys, you should give it a shot. Love it. I think it's a good dram. Askaig, I love Port Askaig. I love 110 proof. Like I said, $75, $80, depending on where you go. I think it's a solid dram. Salted caramel, brine, milk chocolate, peat, ashtray kind of characteristics to it. Nice, it's ex-bourbon, so maybe a little small vanilla and sweet oak from the Bourbon Bavarian menu on that one. Solid dram, though. And then the finish is very good, especially with no water. If you put no water on it, the peat's more prevalent, and it continues to linger on my palate longer. So it's depending upon your preference. Everybody cannot drink straight high-proof whiskeys, but if you can, and you like scotches in particular, you're well-rounded, and you like milk chocolate, this should be right up your alley. If you like milk chocolate, you like ex-bourbon, and you like peat, this is your wheelhouse, if that's your profile. If you don't know if that's your profile, then maybe give it a try. Friend's house, Drams house, if you're near me, I don't know. Just saying. Give it a shot, man. Good stuff. Like I said, man, 8.75 out of 10, solid dram. I really enjoy this. It's out the door with price, availability, taste. 8.75 out of 10, solid dram. I almost want to give it a 9. I really do. Almost. I mean, it could almost be a 9 out of 10. It's that good. It really is. So, but yeah, hope you enjoyed it, man. If you're a Scotch drinker, you never tried this before, and you was curious about it, hopefully this gave you some ideas. And then, like I said, it doesn't taste exactly like maybe an Ugadal. Ugadal was more meaty, more pork character to it. This is more dry. or drier than that, but it is still milk chocolatey. It's not like a dry, it is a very milk chocolatey, brine, caramel, and it's good. It really is. It almost reminds me, if you ever had an old Pulteney, but just imagine an old Pulteney with a little bit more of a, I would say, a chocolatey character to it. That's what I would imagine. But anyway, hope you got something out of it. Check my Instagram page out. I have a link from my Instagram page. I have a lot of reviews in there that you may not have seen. I also have a lot of bottles in there that I have not reviewed that you may want to see. So check the Instagram page out. I also have a Cash App Patreon. If you do choose to make any small donation, that's cool. I also hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you got anything positive out of it. Likes and subscribes on YouTube won't cost you a dime. Hopefully you got something positive out of it. Please hit me in the comment description because I'd love to know your opinions. If you ever had this bottle, I'm curious to know your thoughts and your opinions. Is this align with what I said or not? I'm curious to know just independently. What do you think of this particular expression? So please hit me in the comments. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this bottle because I really want to know. You guys are my drinking buddies. So when I drink, I give information. I also receive information. So please let me know your thoughts and opinions. Like I said, I got more hot reviews coming your way. Please stay tuned on this channel. And like I said, man, I hope everybody's enjoying their spring 2023. Stay tuned. Drams on deck. Yes, sir.